Ever since we got introduced to the Universe 6 Saiyans, there's always been a fine line between love and hate for them. You either like the Universe 6 Saiyans for how different they are compared to the Universe 7 Saiyans, or you hate them because they are back tingled. Regardless of your like or dislike for them, their power is undeniable. Even though it may be undeserved, the fact of the matter is that their potential to grow stronger and stronger to the point where they can contend with Goku is really impressive, especially when we're talking about Kefla, the fusion between Kale and Khalifa. But is their power enough to stop one of the greatest masters of martial arts in the universe? That being Vegito Blue. Today we're going to discuss Vegito Blue vs Kefla, going over the proper feats and scaling to see who would actually win. Before we get into this video, let's set some terms so that we're all clear on what's going on, as well as making it as fair as possible for each Potara fusion. But before we get into the video, subscribe, we're going for 50k, so if you enjoy, sub up. 1. Both fusions will have infinite time. This is because, as of Dragon Ball Super, the way that Potara works has been retconned. In the past, Potara fusion was permanent, and the only way it could be undone was being trapped inside of Buu. Dragon Ball Daima touches upon this a bit more, and apparently the reason as to why Vegito defused inside of Buu was due to Buu's strange atmosphere. But recently it's been retconned. Potara can be undone via wish by the Dragon Balls, and it is no longer infinite. It lasts for 1 hour, but it can last for even shorter amount of time if the fusion is too powerful. Hence why Vegito Blue defused so fast during his fight with Fuse Zamasu. But to make things fair, both Vegito and Kefla will have infinite time. No matter what technique they use, they will always remain fused. 2. The variant of Vegito that we'll be using is Vegito Blue from the Future Trunks arc. And obviously the version of Kefla that we'll be using is from the Tournament of Power that for Ultra Instinct signed Goku as a Super Saiyan 2. Now that we've laid out everything important, we can now actually get into the matchup. Let's start with the fan favorite, Vegito. Now to understand how strong Black Arc Vegito Blue is, we need to analyze Goku and Vegeta's power in this arc. Luckily, we don't have to do a whole hour-long analysis of the arc from start to finish. We just need to focus on the most recent versions of Goku and Vegeta in that arc before they fused. So this would be the 3rd time they traveled to the future. We'll start with Vegeta since his power is a bit more easy to gauge. After suffering a second defeat to Goku Black, as well as learning of his true origins, Vegeta immediately goes to the hyperbolic time chamber to train. He emerges after 6 months have passed inside, and Vegeta is so much more powerful that his aura alone is enough to explode the time chamber. He then travels to the future with Goku and calls dibs on Goku Black, and the two begin to fight. And right off the bat, it is very clear that Vegeta has surpassed Goku Black. His Keyblade gets swatted away, he shrugs off his attacks, and his punches send Goku Black flying. It gets so bad that Vegeta literally pummels him through a skyscraper and trash talks Goku Black, saying that he stole Goku's body and he'll never be able to measure up to his power. However, Goku Black wouldn't be finished just yet. He'd come to realize that anger is what fuels Saiyans, and would use the rage he felt being opposed by mortals to get stronger. This would lead to Goku Black creating his Sai, which is able to cut through the dimensional fabric and create copies of himself that can assist him in this battle. These clones of Goku Black aren't weak at all, and are possibly as strong as the current Goku Black, as they were able to damage both Goku and Vegeta. Goku Black then used this as a distraction to meet up back with Future Zamasu, who had just escaped out of the Mafuba. Future Zamasu would come to realize that he can no longer underestimate mortals and would fuse with Goku Black to become Merge Zamasu. Merge Zamasu would go on to absolutely destroy Goku and Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue. And yes, even Rage Trunks gets manhandled. However, Goku and Vegeta, despite being at a massive disadvantage, gets even stronger based off Vegeta giving a quick speech on how we Saiyans have no limits, with Goku agreeing and stating he's going full power. Vegeta proceeds to put up a better fight against Zamasu, but is still getting handled, especially once he just spawns a halo above him and starts to unleash ki spikes that blow him and Goku up. Trunks is able to get back up and fires a Gallic gun of his own, with Vegeta joining him. The father-son Gallic gun is able to overpower Zamasu's attack, but this only enrages Zamasu, who fires off another lightning of absolution that Vegeta takes the full force of in order to protect his son. It seems like everything is hopeless, but Goku gets back up and fires a Kamehameha to clash with Fuse Zamasu's next attack. Now in regards to Goku's strength during this arc, it's wildly inconsistent, but you could just argue that it's his same biology kicking in, as he's actively growing stronger, but the rate at which he grows stronger is absolutely abnormal. The only sort of training that Goku did after returning from the future was learning the Mafuba, and aside from getting a Zenkai, after recovering from his near-fatal battle with Goku Black. He doesn't really get stronger. They then return to the future, and Goku focuses on holding off future Zamasu, who often likes to tag team his opponents with Goku Black. The Zamasu of the present timeline was weaker than Super Saiyan 2 Goku post-Universe 6 tournament, so the future version of Zamasu should be no different in terms of power. Meanwhile, everything with Vegeta and Goku Black would play out. Merge Zamasu and Goku Black would fuse, Vegeta and Goku would get even stronger, Father-Son Gallic Gun happens, and now Goku comes back into the fight. Now here's where things get crazy. Goku states once again that he's going to use his full power, and somehow he goes from being low dipped by Fused Zamasu to having an equal beam struggle with him, and Goku puts all of his power into his Kamehameha that breaks his arms, but as a result, he's able to overpower Fused Zamasu and his Holy Wrath, leading to half of Fused Zamasu's face being corrupted and badly scarred. Mind you that this is the same Fused Zamasu that was initially dogging on Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, but somehow Goku got so strong mid-battle that he's able to beat a Potara fusion in a beam struggle. You can honestly call it plot or wacky power scaling, but regardless, Goku continues to fight despite his arms being broken and gets his leg broken. This doesn't stop Goku though, as he taps into Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken to one-tap Fused Zamasu to the ground, but Goku is completely out of gas. After this, Fused Zamasu becomes enraged at the fact that he's being pushed back and defeated by mortals, so he literally strikes himself with purple lightning, which causes his arm to be mutated, and his power to grow even more. This is what leads Goku and Vegeta to the solution that they have to fuse. And after popping a sensu bean and being informed by Goasu about how Potara works, they fuse into Vegito for the second time ever. Now I want to briefly touch upon the manga version of this fight from a power scaler perspective, to just make you as the viewer understand how broken Potara really is. Just like how they were in the anime, Goku and Vegeta were struggling against Fused Zamasu, who's able to just no-diff them thanks to his newfound power and immortality hacks. Fused Zamasu can literally smack Goku around despite his eyes not being on him, and even when he catches him off guard and fires a Kamehameha at him, all it manages to do is create a hole through Fused Zamasu's chest that he heals with ease. This is what leads Goku and Vegeta to fuse into Vegito, but unlike in the anime, Base Vegito actually attacks Fused Zamasu. Base Vegito casually fires a Ki Blast from the smoke that destroys half of Fused Zamasu's body, and mind you, a full power Kamehameha from Super Saiyan Blue Goku only managed to make a tiny hole. If it isn't obvious by now, the base power of a Potara fusion is always stronger than both fusees. It's very consistently shown throughout Dragon Ball, and even consistent with Kefla and her power. Base Vegito is so cracked that Fused Zamasu actually mistaken Vegito's base power as a new form he was unaware of. Getting back to the anime though, Vegito doesn't bother to fight Fused Zamasu in base. This could mean that either base Vegito wasn't strong enough to damage Fused Zamasu like his manga counterpart was, or he just wanted to get serious and not waste time. And I'd honestly say the latter, but the former is also arguable as Vegito Blue's power is so great that Shin wonders if he's possibly surpassed Beerus. Though this statement is very contentious, as Beerus is an ever-moving goalpost when it comes to his power. Vegito Blue and Fused Zamasu then go head to head, and their respective power is rivaling each other. It's not a one-sided beatdown like it was against Buhan. Vegito actually takes hits and has to block against Fused Zamasu, but his superior battle IQ and techniques allow him to stay slightly ahead of Fused Zamasu, such as pretending to be knocked out when he's punched just to get a spirit sword off that stabs Fused Zamasu through the chest, even going as far as to taunt him. This leads to Fused Zamasu getting enraged once again, except this time he just grows bigger in size and his aura increases, and it's clear that he's become more powerful. Vegito, however, is still able to fight back, and it's actually almost as if he's having an easier time than before. Honestly, you could argue that in terms of raw strength, Zamasu is above Vegito due to the size increase and bulk up he went through, but at the same time, Zamasu's speed decreased, which is what allows the smaller Vegito to literally speed blitz him. Vegito pulls out a final Kamehameha and fires it point blank at Fused Zamasu, but he's able to rise up from it completely unscathed. Vegito then gets one last punch in, but he defuses. The problem with Vegito Blue in the Black Arc is that while he had better battle IQ, techniques, and experience when compared to Zamasu, he just didn't have the right toolkit necessary to overcome Fused Zamasu's immortality hacks, whereas Trunks did, thanks to the Sword of Hope. But with that, this ends the power scaling for Vegito Blue, and we can now get into Kefla and her power. Now, Kefla's power can be a bit odd to scale at times because of how the Tournament of Power works, and frankly, Dragon Ball Super's very inconsistent power scaling. But we'll try and make as much sense of it as we can. Kaba is recruiting for other fighters to join Team Universe 6 when Renzo, his old mentor, informs him of his younger sister and her potential. It's stated that Khalifa has far more potential than Renzo herself, and Kaba is proven right when he teaches Kefla how to become a Super Saiyan. And her power is so incredible that she's confident in defeating Kaba as a Super Saiyan, with him casually agreeing. But someone who has even more potential than Kefla is Kale, her shy friend. Kale is supposed to be a callback to the original Z Broly, as she's usually shy and quiet. When she goes through intense emotions, her power skyrockets, and she literally bulks up like Z Broly. We get to see this form pop up when Kale begins to get jealous of Goku and Kefla's interaction, causing Kale to focus on nothing but killing Goku. It goes as far as Super Saiyan Blue Goku firing a Kamehameha at Kale, and she's able to walk through it and grab Goku. While this implies that Berserk Kale is in Super Saiyan Blue tiers of power, I highly doubt it. It's more likely that Goku was heavily suppressed in this form, as throughout the beginning of the tournament, Goku wasn't really serious until he fought against Jiren. A good example would be Krillin somehow being able to survive a beam struggle with Super Saiyan Blue Goku. While this Krillin is strong for anime standards, and especially as a human in the world of Dragon Ball, let's be for real, he's not competing with a Goku that has God Ki. Eventually, Goku goes through episode 109 and 110, which involves his battle with Jiren as well as him tapping into Ultra Instinct Sign for the first time. He then meets with Kefla again, who challenges him to a fight as she wants to get a grasp of Super Saiyan 3 after tapping into Super Saiyan 2. Goku agrees to help her as long as she can come at him with everything she has, and the two begin to fight. Now keep in mind that Goku is in base and is extremely fatigued, yet he's still able to push back Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. Eventually Kale regains her confidence and joins in on the fight against Goku, who slowly works his way up to Super Saiyan 2 and even briefly tapping into Super Saiyan 3 to show off the form's power and look. Eventually Goku has the necessary stamina and a ki to transform into Super Saiyan God, and this is where the bullying begins. He's able to make short work of Super Saiyan 2 Kefla and Super Saiyan 2 controlled Berserk Kale, to such an extent that they have to fuse in order to not get knocked out by Goku's Kamehameha. But this is where things change, as we get introduced to Kefla. Base Kefla is able to speed blitz God Goku, and her power is so great that she not only says she feels infinite power bubbling up within her, but Blue Vegeta is able to feel her ki all the way across the ring, and is as shocked as Goku. No matter what attacks or techniques God Goku pulls off, Kefla literally calls his attacks lame and absolutely pile drives Goku into the dirt. This pushes him to use Super Saiyan Blue, and Kefla uses her own unique green-haired variant of Super Saiyan, though the multiplier should still be the same as the 50 times we're all familiar with. They are able to fight a bit relative now, especially once Goku uses Blue Kaioken, as she's able to damage Goku and knock him out of Blue Kaioken, and I'll explain near the end of the Kefla segment of this video as to why that's crazy. Goku's back is against the corner, and Kefla prepares to finish him off with a blaster bowl. But Goku is once again able to tap into Ultra Instinct Sign. No matter what tricks or attacks Kefla tries, he's able to dodge them all. The problem is that Goku at this point lacks the necessary power to actually damage Kefla, as Kefla literally shrugs off his attacks and says they're weak. In response, Goku refines his usage of Ultra Instinct Sign mid-battle and actually lands some damaging blows on Kefla, as his movements and reflexes become sharper and fiercer. However, he still isn't able to last in Ultra Instinct Sign for long, so he decides to end his battle with Kefla as quickly as he can. Just as she charges up a Ray Blast with multiple lasers aimed at Goku, Roshi states that if one of the lasers were to hit Goku, he'd die, but he's able to outmaneuver them all and finish Kefla off with a point-blank Kamehameha that is so powerful that it causes the Potara to crack, though it also could just be that Kefla defused early due to the power used by the fusion. Now the main argument for Kefla being above Vegito Blue is the Spirit Bomb scaling. In episode 109 and 110, Goku fought against Jiren and relied on the Spirit Bomb to defeat him. Suppressed Jiren was able to push it back with ease, and even Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku was unable to defeat Jiren with the Spirit Bomb. Jiren would then proceed to use more energy than before and literally blink away the Spirit Bomb. Mind you, Shin states that the energy that Jiren was emitting was far more powerful than anything he's ever felt, and Shin was present during the entire Black Arc. This should mean that Jiren's energy, while suppressed, was above Vegito Blue, Sword of Hope Trunks, and even Infinite Zamasu. Goku would fall into the Spirit Bomb and tap into Ultra Instinct Sign in order to survive. We would then cut over to a few episodes later, and Kefla would go Super Saiyan, with Whis stating that Kefla's energy as a Super Saiyan should rival the Spirit Bomb, and she would get twice as strong on top of that Spirit Bomb, rivaling power. She's tapped into Super Saiyan 2. Her energy became so incredible that Piccolo states she might have surpassed Goku's earlier power, referring to Ultra Instinct Sign Goku from episode 110. However, there's a problem with the Spirit Bomb scaling. In order for it to be valid, you'd have to actually prove that the Universe 7 Spirit Bomb scales to Jiren first, as Jiren was able to effortlessly push it back. You need to remember that Goku was fatigued throughout the tournament, especially when he fought against Kefla. He was so fatigued that he could barely transform into a Super Saiyan, and yet he was still able to fight against Kale and Kefla and for a brief amount of time, he was able to fight against Super Saiyan Kefla with Blue Kaioken. We also don't know how much stronger Goku actually got between the Black Arc and the beginning of the Tournament of Power, as we know for sure that some time passed between those two arcs. Finally, there's Shin statement, which has different translations. Some refer to strength, where others just refer to it just feeling different. We'll go with the benefit of the doubt and say Shin is referring to strength, but how can we be sure that Shin is a reliable source when it comes to gauging one's power? To be fair, this is the same Shin who believes that Goku could defeat Super Buu once he fused via the Potara with Kibito, and the same Shin who was terrified of fighting against Babidi's minions and was begging Goku and Gohan to help base Vegeta jump Pui Pui. Shin's been wrong a lot of times when it refers to someone's power, so taking his word as nothing but the truth is debatable, to be honest. Finally, in Black Arc Vegito's defense, while this, yes, I'd say that his power has been surpassed by Goku and Vegeta during the Tournament of Power, he was still really strong. He just seemed weak because he couldn't defeat Zamasu, who kept getting stronger and was literally unkillable due to immortality hacks. Even Sword of Hope Trunks was unable to truly kill Zamasu, as well as he was able to destroy his physical body. Zamasu still went on to fuse with space-time and become Infinite Zamasu. Vegito Blue would also take most stats from Kefla, such as battle IQ, experience, technique, hacks, and potential, but ultimately, the victor of this battle comes down to two things. If you believe that Shin's statement is valid and the Spirit Bomb scaling is valid, then Kefla should be far above Black Arc Vegito Blue. Piccolo stated she had surpassed Ultra Instinct Sign Goku from episode 110, and her energy was far above the Spirit Bomb. Or two, if you take into account that Goku was heavily fatigued when he fought against Kefla, even in Ultra Instinct Sign, and was nowhere near his full power, then Black Arc Vegito should win. If Goku was still able to fight against Kale and Khalifa in base despite being fatigued, and Kefla as a Super Saiyan Blue, then imagine what a full power Goku would have done. But who do you think is the winner? Vegito Blue or Kefla? Comment down below, and with all that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.